Today I'm going to be going over whether or not it is worth it to juice ritual altar maps in Path of Exile 2. Now, the setup for this strategy is actually relatively simple. We are essentially just going to be stacking omen percents on maps through precursor tablets. And here's the Atlas setup. Essentially, we go into a bunch of nodes for increased effect of precursor tablets, as well as some increased effect of map, explicit modifiers, just for the extra rarity, quant, whatever we may have on the map. We have some pack size to get additional ritual favor tribute throughout the map. Magic monsters, rare monsters. We spec'd into some wisps as well to see if we could maybe get some nice drops. I don't really have any rarity on this setup, so it's just a little bit of extra rarity on the occasional rare too. I will say that specking into wisps did slow me down a little bit. The reason being that sometimes you have to kind of follow the wisp around. It likes to go in weird directions, which can be a little bit frustrating. Maybe we'll do a wisp farm video in the future. But again, the Atlas setup is pretty simple. And then the actual map setup for this was also relatively simple. We essentially found a double tower setup. We put 25% increased chance for favors to be omens inside of the precursor tablet slots. We put around 3 of these on each map, as well as a Visions of Paradise so that we could run each map twice. In the process of finding these 2 towers, I found 2 more over here. So we actually had 4 overlapping towers right here in the middle, and we ran around 10 maps. As you can see, we did die a few times because we were using the Temporalis Autobomber, unfortunately. It sometimes just fails and falls over. But yeah, hopefully this sample size and this data is, sufficient enough to make a decision. We ran around 50 maps in total. I did around 10 of them on stream, and then I did a bunch off stream just in these areas over here. Some of these maps are, were ran once, but not twice yet. And yeah, like I said, we achieved around 300% effect of omens on the maps throughout this grind. 300% increased chance for favors to be omens. And upon entering the map, that value went anywhere up to 800%, but it averaged out at around 500%. So on average, we had 500% increased chance to find omens. And I will say that after having done around 50 maps, we found absolutely 0 omens. So I'll just jump straight into the chase. I don't know if I did something wrong. I don't know if my setup was wrong or my Atlas was wrong. But yeah, we found no omens at all. Maybe it was bad luck. Without juicing omen percent find, I did find that on average it was around 1 in 50 ritual altars earlier in the league to actually get an omen. And this time around, we had 500% increased chance to find omens. We had multiple rerolls. If we go to the Alice tree here, we spec'd into Tempting Offers, Ominous Portents, and Promised Devotion. The reason why we spec'd into those for ritual altars are mainly that it's cheaper to reroll. We can reroll an additional time, and we get 100% increased chance for omens from the Alice tree, as well as reduced deferral cost if we end up rerolling multiple times and finding an omen, but not having that much, ritual tribute to be able to defer the omen, right? Which is an issue I ran into earlier in the league. I actually found a lot of omens earlier in the league, and I wasn't able to defer them. So that's why our Atlas setup is as such. I do want to mention that this is not the only Atlas setup that you can use for ritual altars. There are also ritual precursor tablets that have a suffix modifier of can reroll favors an additional time. You could stack this potentially with increased, tribute or reduced tribute cost to reroll. And essentially what you can do is probably with a 3 or 4 tower setup, get close to 100% reduced cost of rerolls, have double rerolls, and up to, 7, 8, 9 rerolls on the map. So effectively from a single map, you can get like 20, 30 rerolls out of a single ritual altar. I do want to state that this or that ritual setup in particular is very, very expensive because when I was killing the Arbiter and I was finding those tablets, most of them sold for around 5 divines each. So that might be a much more valid strategy for farming ritual altars as a whole, but personally for myself, it just didn't really work out. Like I said, we found almost no omens. I do think that this is a bit unfortunate. I do think that the drop rate of omens should be significantly higher. It should be almost guaranteed per ritual altar to find at least 1 valuable omen, as well as from the audience with the kings. The reason why I say that is that it could take anywhere from 200 to 300 omens just to hit 1 tier 1 modifier on an item that you're looking for. And so at the end of the day, you really want to make sure, I guess, that players are able to easily acquire omens. Part of the problem right now with crafting as a whole in PoE2 is that the price of omens are extremely expensive, right? So I do think that they should add new omens, such as omens that guarantee higher tier rolls that are more rare and significantly expensive. But I do think that they should update the existing omens to be almost guaranteed drop rates. I think it would fix the issue of crafting for a lot of players and allow players to actually grind out maps as well as, you know, audiences and actually see a result from it other than 1 or 2 divines per hour or, you know, an omen here and an omen there. Getting an omen at league start is definitely very nice because it's a lot of divines to just get you going in your build. But, you know, just farming omens as a whole, not really a viable or valid strategy, at least from my experience. Again, this is not the best setup, but this is a pretty budget setup. We did invest around 5 to 10 divines into this setup as a whole. We got nothing in return. We got around a divine or 2 just in raw divines and chaos orbs that dropped. I will mention that I do think it is worth it to check all the loot inside of a ritual altar because occasionally you will find tier 0 uniques as well as really well rolled items. It could be a spear with T1 accuracy and T1 crit chance. It could be anything really. You never know what you're going to get. So always double check your items. You'll find a lot of recombination bases, etc. inside of omen altars. You'll also find items occasionally that are worth a few divines. The best way to summon or summarize, you know, a ritual altar is that at the end of the day, it's essentially the equivalent of picking up an entire inventory worth of loot and identifying it, but you don't actually have to go back to your hideout and identify it. You can just scroll over it and double check. One other thing I will mention is that for this setup, we did run deli on our maps. We ran around 50 to 100% deli just to increase the amount of tribute that we were getting from ritual altars due to increased pack size and number of monsters on the map. Yeah, and the other thing is that we did try to juice the maps out a little bit. Like I said, we did die, so there is always the potential that I missed a couple omens in the process of dying. I'm not too certain, not too sure at all. But yeah, we definitely died a few times. We did complete a bunch of the maps, no omens, no luck. And like I said, I really think that GGG should just make omens of whittling, sinistral, dextral, erasure, almost 100% drop rate. You would still have to complete, you know, 400 or 500 maps just to get enough omens to craft out an item. Yes, they would essentially become worthless, but they would still be worth a divine or 2, even if they were guaranteed drops. And the reason being that it's just supply and demand from crafting. As it currently stands, omens, especially towards the start of the league, a bunch of people invest in omens, the price goes up, they hold on to them, and it's really just, I don't want to call it market manipulation, but it kind of is. A lot of players have omens, and, you know, them having those omens and buying them for a cheap price makes it more expensive for other players, more casual players to come along and maybe craft on their gear or upgrade their gear as a whole. So that's definitely something to consider, I would say. But yeah, like I said, I had a lot of fun doing this strategy. I do kind of feel bad. I thought I would get better results than I did, especially using 4 towers and achieving around 500% increased chance for omens to appear as favors. What I will say is that we did see some omens here and there. Omens of corruption. We found 1 omen of greater annulment, which those are worth, you know, 4 or 5 chaos, which was nice. But as a whole, we kind of lost out. We didn't do too well, as I've said multiple times in this video already. And yeah, I don't know if you guys have different results. Definitely let me know down below in the comments. I'll be coming out with some other videos as well, such as gold juicing maps, juicing expeditions, etc. So if you guys want to stay tuned for those videos, definitely let me know. If you enjoyed the video, leave a comment down below. Give the video a thumbs up. Subscribe. It helps me out a lot. I really appreciate it. And yeah, bear with me as I work towards upgrading my computer so that we can do these maps even quicker and maybe see some better results in the future. Thanks again, guys, for tuning in. Have a wonderful rest of your day, and peace out.